Before we start this episode, we'd like to thank our sponsors. Thank you. Hey, it's me, Liam. We have one question for you guys. Have you ever heard of Anchor? If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting a podcast on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. And it's super easy to earn money on Anchor too. All you need is 50 unique listeners in order to apply for ads. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And Anchor is totally free to use. So go download the Anchor app today or visit anchor.fm to get started. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Hallows at Noon. I'm your host, Liam Noonan.
And I'm your other host, almost an affiliate on Twitch, Rocky Hollows. And today we have a special, very, very special guest, very dear to my heart. It is a very amazing person, Roby, one of my partners in crime when it comes to everything I do.
How you all doing, everyone? Good to be here.
So this is the first official episode post-ad.
Yes, now we're actually, I guess we're Anchor affiliates now.
So they gave me like a bare bones script where I can ad-lib. I had to hit all the certain points like, with Anchor, you could host your website, host your podcast on Anchor, and Anchor will distribute it to all the major streaming platforms.
Well, I guess we're also doing the same thing with our website, thehollowsatnoon.com, because I checked it and there was a DuckDuckGo ad on there. I'm just like, yeah, we're getting money.
Yeah. So I had to hit all those points, ad-lib it a little bit, and they mandated that I have a call to action, which was the anchor.fm, and download the Anchor app today. They're paying us $15 per CPM, which is cost per mile, which basically equates to 1 click per 1,000 listens. We have maybe around 400 listeners. So that's 44 cents, pretty much.
Well, it's approximately 1 out of 1,000th of a way to buying us a cup of Starbucks coffee.
Yeah.
Or better yet, Dunkin'.
No,
you're not a fan, but
it depends.
I like Dunkin' over Starbucks, to be honest.
But it just depends on like the Dunkin' Donuts, because there's some that are better than others.
Yeah, some are absolute bull, and then others are like glory.
I like Starbucks and Dunkin', but Dunkin's a lot cheaper.
Definitely.
So,
especially on Long Island, where it's like, it's literally an arm and a leg just to fill up half your gas tank.
Yeah.
Oh my god, literally. Didn't you put that in my chats last night and in the chat on my Twitch stream?
You
did.
I'm trying to remember. It was something else about not being able to afford it, but yeah, it's like ridiculously expensive.
It'll cost the same as that mansion that was in it. For those of you who don't know, I have Twitch. I am a streamer, as of right now, as we're recording this, I'm really like fingertips away from becoming a Twitch affiliate. And that's what I'm obsessed with right now. I do apologize if it's annoying. I'm just like, I need to make it, and then I can just get ads and revenue just like we are on this podcast.
Yeah. So the way our episodes are going to work from here on out is you're going to hear the ad first, and then we're going to have like 30 minutes of us recording, and then we're going to place another 2 ad breaks in the middle of the episode, just so that when we get more sponsors, we could put them there, and then the rest will be us. Another 30 minutes of us talking.
We do apologize in advance for any inconvenience that the ads cost, but college kids have to make money somehow, right?
Yeah. So Anchor required that I had hit all the talking points that they sent to me, the call to action, and the ad had to be over 30 seconds long. So our current ad is about a minute long.
Not bad.
So it's not bad for ads. We tried recording this earlier, and we got so angry at Jobs
that at least one word slipped out without
Yeah.
the censor button. And it's okay, that happened to us last episode as well. I mean, normal podcast stuff. Instead, you just press a button like this.
Yeah.
Or it could just be up.
Like our previous recording. So
I only do it just to be comedically hilarious. Kind of like Gordon Ramsay. In a way.
earlier we touched on coffee, the differences between like Starbucks and Dunkin'. I used to work at a Dunkin' Donuts many years ago. So at my store, there'd be hours of us just like not doing anything because nobody was coming in because they were all at work. But there's this one little tidbit that I remember from all these years later is that a fresh pot of coffee is supposed to last like 18 minutes. We're supposed to write the time where we made the fresh pot down onto the pot itself with like non-permanent marker. And every 20 minutes, we would make a fresh pot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like the way that every Dunkin' Donuts we want it to be, but not the way that every Dunkin' Donuts is in actuality, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We don't fill a fresh pot every 20 minutes. It's maybe like every 30 minutes.
Yeah, and from what I actually asked somebody about this the other day, I think at the WHPC radio station,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody said that the best Dunkins are the ones that have the actual ovens for fresh donuts.
Yeah.
God, I love
And
the
hash
donuts.
browns.
Oh yes, I love the hash browns.
Sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
I mean, I
Can't go
agree.
without the hash browns.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Like I remember once I drove you to your old job at Coney and you bought me hash browns. I'm like, oh.
The sweet black pepper bacon sandwich,
Ooh.
that's really good.
And then they released like their maple bacon something like
Yeah.
over the summer, and that was a whole thing. I feel like they're trying to like kind of compete with Starbucks just because it's like very it's not just coffee.
Yeah.
It's like pastries and sandwiches, and they're trying to take their hockey puck eggs and try and make a statement with it, which is interesting.
Yeah. The most selling item is the coffee at Dunkin'.
Right.
So they're really focusing on that.
They're focusing so much that they lost the second half of their name. It's no longer Dunkin' Donuts. It's just Dunkin'.
I don't like that.
And the donuts, they're getting still. Like they don't care.
Like I said, you gotta go with the ones with
Well,
the ovens.
because at the end of the day, whether it's coffee or donuts, people buy it anyways. Unfortunately, when you don't hold yourself to high standards every day, then all of a sudden your locals and everybody else are like, oh, well, it's not, what we came here for. And it's,
Yeah.
why are you going to go back? And you can go somewhere else. And
Yeah.
now we have this new place on Long Island called Buzzed Coffee. You guys ever hear of that?
Buzzed Express
No,
Coffee.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's
out, where is it? By like Sunrise
I
Highway?
think it's near Belmore.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Or like around Wonton Belmore.
I've been curious to try that place.
Mm.
Me too. Let's go one day.
Definitely. But I think for me, living on Long Island, when it comes to coffee, there's nothing better than when you go to a 7-Eleven and they have the machine there that makes it fresh.
Mm.
Because like every time that you go there, it's going to be consistent. And then they have 3 options. They have, the standard house roast and the Colombian and, whatever. I go with the Colombian. I like it, but I'm a person who takes my coffee black, which is, I could think of at least one Blazing Saddles reference, which I won't make here, but I will let your mind wander.
Or Airplane.
Airplane, that's right. Yep, that's the one I meant.
Oh my God, yes.
That was the one. It was Mel Brooks. I had Mel Brooks in my mind.
Meanwhile,
Classics.
you know what I'm jealous of?
Yeah.
Every state that has a Wawa, because they have so many coffee flavors, including a new cinnamon bun flavored coffee, and I love Wawa with the burning passion. Love them. Seriously, we need some on Long Island. Wawa. First of all, Wawa sponsor us, and second of all, please open on Long Island. I beg you. We're begging you. I'm tired of 7-Eleven, honestly. I mean, you're not.
It's there when you need it.
Yeah.
I guess. I just think it would be more fun if they had better if we had like Wawas.
I think it would be fun if we could afford gas on Long Island.
Oh, amen.
So if Wawa does come here, I think we should put a quota on their gas where it's not allowed to go above $3 a gallon. That's
Indeed. Yes. You've had Wawa before too when we went to Richmond's.
Wawa's great.
It's amazing.
At least, the ones that I've been to out of state, they have a wide selection of not only convenience, but also you can get sandwiches, you can get coffees, like I needed Advil and stuff. So it's just a one-stop shop, and you got the gas stations and everything. So
Hoagies.
yeah, it's good sandwiches.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of everything. It's honestly like the way that a gas station convenience store should be.
Yeah.
Every time I see my friend Allie go to her school out in Lafayette, like in Pennsylvania, and I see her on Wawa runs on like Snapchat, I low key like I'm gonna kill this girl. Like I will literally fight her for some Wawa sandwiches and coffee. Like
Period.
Yep.
What he said.
Love you, Allie. Seriously.
I've only been to like a Wawa once. And
Did you get the coffee or the sandwiches?
I don't remember. I got
Pastries.
it was like a really quick trip because I was on my way home from Williamsburg, Virginia. So we just had to stop by. I forget what we had to stop for, but it was me, my dad, and my brother. We're big like U.S. history buffs, so we went and visited Colonial Williamsburg and did everything down there for like a week. So it was like 2 years ago.
I've been to Colonial Williamsburg at least once when I was a kid. Right after my Uncle Greg's wedding. We were there for an extra day or two. I think we were at a Marriott Vacation Club. It was so nice there. Like, that was such a beautiful, really great hotel. Man, I hope it's still open.
Yeah, I have like a timeshare down in Florida with, my parents have a timeshare in Florida with Wyndham. So one of their resorts is there. And we stay there for a week. We go to Colonial Williamsburg. We go to Busch Gardens, Virginia. We go to Water Country, USA.
Kingsmill?
No.
Oh.
we stick to like the Williamsburg area.
I got you. I've been to Busch Gardens once. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My friend the Rye Guy goes there all the time.
Yeah. There's a new ride opening this year that I really want to go.
Ooh, which one?
and try.
What's it called?
Pantheon. It's a new roller coaster.
Interesting. I wonder what kind it is.
It's a launch.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they I think it's a multi-launch coaster, so they launch you backwards up a spike, forward through the launch section. You don't go up completely over the top hat. You fall back, and then you have enough speed now to complete the coaster.
Backwards or forwards? Yeah.
Forwards.
Interesting.
So it looks like a lot of fun.
I remember they have one that kind of like that called Tempesto.
Yeah.
Is it the same thing? That would be a terrible idea to repeat the
no.
process.
No, it's a longer coaster where you know it's much longer than Tempesto.
Okay, thank God.
It's like an actual coaster.
It would have been a terrible idea for them to repeat like Tempesto's like design a second time.
Yeah, although it's in the same area as Tempesto.
These fools spend money to go on roller coasters. Meanwhile, you couldn't pay me enough money to go on half of them. I'm just like, leave me over by the pizza and the ice cream, and I'll be fine.
That's good. So that's when we went to do it eventually. I'm just gonna like, you're coming with me.
Oh,
I'll carry you.
well, Adventureland's one thing, but when you go to like Six Flags and then it's like, oh, let's
Yeah.
go on the big one that goes all the way up to the top and then drops right after. I'm not going on King Taka. It's not happening.
Okay, that's one that I'm never going to ride. That's really terrifying to me.
I've been to Six Flags Great Adventure once. I wanted to go on King Ka, but like the entire day, it was shut down.
Why? How is that even like? You go to the roller coaster park and you want to go on like the roller coaster. I mean, my friend, when we went for my school trip, he waited online all day for that roller coaster. Literally didn't go on any other roller coasters because the line was hours.
Wait, where did you go?
To Six Flags Great Adventure.
Oh, is that a senior trip?
That was a trip that we did in my high school for it was a band trip, and we did like a
so
competition, and then we went to Six Flags after.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that was my high school senior trip.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
to
nice.
Six Flags?
Yeah.
Mine was to Dorney Park. Interesting. Yeah, like literally, that was the day I broke my fear of roller coasters. My senior trip when I went to Dorney with my whole graduating class and several others from different schools. There was one ride that they took down called Stinger.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of those inverted boomerang coasters.
Ah, those.
That was so much fun. I screamed like Marv from Home Alone. It was hilarious. And then my first ride, obviously I wanted to try and do a smaller ride.
Yeah.
To like break my fear of coasters, but I picked one that was launched at full speed for out of the station, and I was just like, oh my God, why did I do this? And it was Possessed. It was like the two towers, one's twisty, one's straight. So one is gay and one is not. That's what I'm calling it. I rode 3 coasters that day, and the third one, there was those 2, and then the third one was Steel Force. That one is like, that was the best ride that day. And thanks to me breaking that fear in 2016, a year later, I went to Hershey Park and was able to ride almost everything, including Sky Rush, which was terrifying. Great Bear, that's my favorite.
Yeah, I've also been to Hershey Park once. It was actually during the summer I was working at Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, wow.
Oh no.
My sister used to play travel softball out on Port Washington. So they had a tournament there in Hershey. So most of the day I spent at a softball tournament, but my sister's softball coach bought everybody tickets to go to Hershey Park like after dark.
Ooh,
So
awesome.
we didn't get back to our hotel until like after midnight.
So that's worth it, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
Did you
great.
ride the roller coasters?
Yeah.
What was your favorite at Hershey?
My favorite, I think Super Duper Looper.
That one's so cool. It's classic. That
Yeah.
was fun.
There's a new one though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's right by the entrance.
Oh yeah, Canzimonium. I want to ride that so bad. I've only been to Hershey Park 2.5 times. I say 2.5 because once the second time I went by, we stopped by on Halloween overnight, and we only went to the Chocolate Worlds for trick or treat
Yeah.
stuff. And I was with a babysitter. I didn't get to go in the park, but it would have been awesome. But it was a lot of fun. I love Hershey Park. It's one of my favorite places on earth, and I'm definitely gonna bring you with me next time, Roby.
And a barf bag.
With the barf bag, yes. Oh, come on. We both know you're going to stay near Subway or something.
Yeah, there's
Wherever.
You know, I'm more likely to spill coffee on a white shirt, you know, knowing my luck than anything. So it doesn't really matter. But you know, it's interesting right now that there's a lot of people that are struggling the younger people that are struggling with trying to come to terms with reality of what's going on with everything that's going on in the world. And a lot of people are challenging systems like the education system, and then they find themselves trapped in this corporate dichotomy where it doesn't matter what you do, where you're kind of like like at a Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, it's like you're hourly waged and you're expected to change the coffee 18 minutes and do all this crap, and that's like corporate life though.
Yeah.
So at what point do we recognize that this is something that do we say that this is something that is going to fail, or is it something that is the American way? Is this really the best way forward, is through corporate America?
And then we have companies that are like corporations, like in entertainment, that are taking over their smaller subsidiaries. For instance, we had several companies taken over by DHX Media in Canada, including Studio B, 9 Story, which broke free and became their own thing, and several others. I forgot which ones. And then now it's just DHX. I'm just like, that's lame.
And we don't talk about the big company that we used to work for.
Wait, which one? Wait, yes, that one. We don't talk about them. We don't talk about Bruno. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I loved Encanto, but even on like New Year's Eve, do you know that Ryan Seacrest New Year's Eve show?
Yeah.
Now it used to be by Dick Clark Productions.
Yeah.
They were taken over by Media Rights Capital, MRC.
Yeah.
That made me so sad when I was with Roby and we saw that instead of Dick Clark. I was just like, what the
Yeah.
Like, I hate when like they do that, It's just like, why? I get it, money, but still, why? It ruins it. Stop.
Well, you just said it. It's money.
Yeah.
Stop.
I know.
Stop.
I know. And now it's like, it feels like it's impossible, as an individual who's trying to do a startup, because that's what everybody's doing. But you have to recognize that depending on what market it is, that there's always going to be room for growth. The problem is, when you get to a certain point, how do you focus on the individual? How do you stop focusing on, we're a corporation? How do you focus on every person is it merit based? Is it work? I mean, where do you draw the line?
After you feed, where you draw the line? After you feed the world a giant Snickers bar, and it stops being angry and stops being mean to us.
I think we're going to need a lot more than Snickers to get the world on the same page. But
Snickers satisfies.
It does satisfy. Unless you're vegan or any other weird, whatever, different sort of. But you know what? I do respect veganism.
Yes.
As impossible as it is, literally without like supplements and everything, I respect the people that do it, for the reasons that they do. It reminds me of the Friends episode where Phoebe, she's given like this beautiful fur coat, and she's like, "Oh, I can't believe that my aunt gave this to me. She doesn't even know me," because she's all like, anti-poaching and everything. And then meanwhile, she's like, "Is this what you want? You want something that looks like beautiful?" And she like completely changes, and she's like, "Well, it's not like I'm wearing a coat that's made out of seeing eye dogs." So
It
yeah,
reminds me of The Hunt.
but perspective is everything. And I respect the people who stick to their values with something like veganism for the purpose of you're trying to promote like a bigger message, which is animal cruelty, whatever it be. And there's so many issues that in a world like today, if you don't take the time to focus on the smaller issues and you just stand gawking at like all this stuff that's going on, you're never going to be able to do anything, because it becomes self-defeating very quickly.
Yeah.
Wait, while we're on the subject of what's wrong with this world, I'm surprised this hasn't come up. What's the deal with these Karens, man? Ugh, like
These Karens.
all these Karens worldwide. I've seen
Karens.
there's Karens. I swear. What do you get out of doing any of this?
If we're gonna talk about that, can we talk about the fact that like nobody on Long Island knows how to drive on a highway?
That too, but that's not
Or
important
just in
right
general?
now. That's just one part of the world. That's just worldwide. We're talking about Karens. I just want to know, what's the purpose of being a complete in public. You're making of yourselves. Like, what's the point of that? You know, people videotape you, right?
Mhm.
What is the point? Yes, feel attacked. Speak to our managers. I am the manager, damn. Like, for real. Like, seriously. I've seen, there's this one YouTube channel called Karen's in the Wilds.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but the videos that they post are just so entertaining of watching these Karens make a complete fool out of themselves. Just like in public. Like, we've had Karens in airports, on airplanes, like, who refuse to wear masks. Karens in stores who refuse to wear masks. We have some that attack people that those ones make my blood boil, because it's just like, you do realize that's instant, like, you're going to jail. You've assaulted somebody.
Mhm.
I will just say that.
Oh, you're just looking up now?
Oh yeah, I was just curious. But I'll say one thing about the whole, not wearing a mask thing. And this is kind of on like a broader like COVID topic. But and it relates to what's going on in Canada with the protests, where I think people should have a right at the end of the day towards what they do to their own body.
Yeah.
And that's something that, it's not really talked about from birth. It's like, well, you need to get your vaccines and whatever. But interesting point that a doctor that I know personally, who's more on the homeopathic side, is like, your body can only take so many vaccines before, it's just, eventually it's like, what are we going to vaccinate people for everything? And are we going to do the Omicron variant, and which one? And so, they're good in theory, but I think people have a right to be skeptical. And I think that they have the right to, if they choose not to get vaccinated, to not be completely, shut down in their entire life. But I think it's really complicated. And I know that back in the States, when the president had lifted the mask mandate, that people were going into stores without masks. And then the store was saying, well, you need to wear a mask. So then who do you listen to? And then you have, the separation of powers again, which is, state and federal, where a lot of the stuff that should have been federal has been left up to the states. And now it's like everybody's got their own opinion on everything. And it's just, it's crazy. But, I don't know. Do you think that people should be forced to get a vaccine to like leave their country and do anything?
I never actually thought of it that way, though. Actually, if it's your body, be skeptical. Like, actually, that actually kind of makes sense to me, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, all of us, regardless on what you believe or not, we just want this pandemic to end, right? At the end of the day.
But before we get this part of the episode taken out by YouTube, we suggest that you get vaccinated
and wear masks.
We do suggest that you follow all COVID principles that have been established by federal guidelines, and to do whatever it is to protect yourself and loved ones from getting COVID-19, because it is a terrible disease. It will kill you. We happen to all be vaccinated, so we can sit here in a space and be relatively comfortable that we're doing the best thing that science has put forward. But, that being said, do I question the choices that I've made? Sure. I think it's healthy that everybody has, skepticism. But for me, I took the vaccine, and I can't choose whether or not, anything happens, but I can still go about my life, and I can still make sure that I'm doing things that are still good, healthy practices in addition to it. And I think, regardless of whether you get the vaccine, which again, we believe that you should.
Yeah.
But if you don't, that's your choice. And you should be, in my opinion, entitled to that choice. And there's a number of reasons and factors that can affect somebody's decision to not get the vaccine, including but not limited to, pre-existing health conditions and, religious beliefs. If you want to go there, that's not, again, most people, but there's of course going to be a number of circumstances that will cause people to not want to do something. And then on that note, I'll just say that there's always going to be a reason to not do something.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to put logic and principled practice before beliefs.
Yeah.
We gotta get you on the show more often. You just gave us such intelligent points of view.
So nuanced.
Some pretty points of view, but whatever.
Totally fucked up.
So we've got about a minute left. Let's stop it right here for a commercial break.
Okay, okay.
We will be right back.
After these messages.
After these
right
messages.
back.